Non-Americans of Reddit, what is popular in the US that you wish was more popular where you live? I'm from Brazil. Kitchen with island, sinkhole with the garbage disposal, air conditioner everywhere in the house. I've seen a few comments about garbage disposals on here, but I love what people call them when they don't know the official name. Of what I've seen, you guys have breakfast places everywhere and they have a wide selection of stuff like pancakes and donuts. It's not healthy but it sounds great. Most we get in the UK are small cafes or McDonald's. Bathtubs apparently. I see them in so many TV shows. Even characters who supposedly aren't well off have a big butt bathtub in their bathroom. I have not even seen one in real life. I thought maybe some hotels in my country would have them, but nope. Though to be fair, I've never stayed in a 5-star or something. Just want to experience bathing in a bathtub once to see what all the fuss is about. Bathtubs in Japan also can keep water warm. They come with thermostat to keep set temperature. They can autofill at a given time, etc. A lot of people have bathtub TV to sink in warm water and watch shows. When I moved to the Northwest, all my European friends swore up and down that American desserts and pastries were inferior, that I would have to get sweets imported, and I would miss all the nice bakeries, etc. Immediately when I got here, I was offered a maple bar with bacon and nuts, and I can never go back. America's pastry game goes hard. I've never had donuts as fluffy and flavorful. 10/10, would recommend. Having films set in your country. The only films I can think that are set in Scotland are filth. The Trainspotting films and that bit of Avengers. Infinity War set in Edinburgh, with the beautiful sign saying we will deep fry your kebab. Your huge portion of historical romance novels, though, put a man in a kilt on the cover, and that sucker will be a bestseller. A theater where they serve you actual food, like pizza, not popcorn, inside the theater, while sitting on a spacious reclining chair with a little mini table. Best experience watching a movie I've ever had and wish it was in my country, Kenya. Yas. In America I went to one and had margaritas, pulled pork nachos and french fries while watching a movie. It was so fun. Cereal. We don't have any good breakfast cereal in Nepal, only dumb Kellogg's cornflakes and chocos. I want those sweet honey nut Cheerios, colorful Fruit Loops, then flavorful cinnamon toast crunch, those amazing looking frosted mini wheats. Just give us some variety. The vast differences between states. It's like going to a different country every time. If I lived in the US I would go on a road trip to a random state at least once a month. So much to see. Street food that doesn't cost. I hate the fact that in the UK, especially London, Birmingham, etc., 99% of street food is deemed to be as pretentious as possible. Just because food is inevitably sprinkled with parmesan, truffle oil, whatever, does not mean it's allowed to be charged as much as it is inside a restaurant. No, I don't want to eat a secret spices beef rib from a cardboard box with rosemary salted french fries for £14 in the rain. I'd much rather have a half decent burrito for £4.5, thanks. The taco truck near my house. Hostess Donet's mini powdered donuts. I have not found anything like them in the UK. Could eat a whole bag of them in one sitting, they were so good. A whole bag in one sitting is the only way to eat them. I've watched a lot of Man vs Food. All of the food he eats on there. I love the look of American food, especially the unhealthy stuff. That's our secret, it's all unhealthy stuff. Brazilian here. I've always wanted to go to the movies in a drive-in. The idea of watching movies in your car seems comfortable and fun. And if I'm mistaken, we do have some of those, but it's not very popular. Halloween also. It's my favorite day of the year. We do kind of celebrate it, but not so much. Diner culture, and to that extent diner food. Like the sheer ability to go and get a simple, hearty, affordable yet delicious meal at a sit-down restaurant at any time of day, any day of the week. Nothing pretentious about the food either. No brioche bun hamburgers with 3 meat patties. No sandwiches made with cheese from random Italian monk farts. No fries dipped in truffle oil and duck fat and sold for thrice the price. None of that. A good old cheeseburger and fries, and they've been making it the same way since the 1950s. Honestly, I live for the simplicity of the American diner and I wish it's more popular elsewhere. Americans introduced the world to fast food and pretty much everyone's embraced it. So diner food is the next logical step to take. I'm an American living in Italy and I miss diners so much. Fit in as many as I can when I come back to visit. Breakfast food all day, too. Can't be beat. Thrifting. Where I live, the second-hand shop are so rare and it takes hours to get there. Also big mall where there are 20 and more shops near me. And with near I mean that I have to drive for 1 hour. There is only one. And they only make this kind of malls in the opposite side of my city because the center is untouchable. My German family absolutely cleans out the Goodwill stores when they come visit. Tailgating looks fun. South Louisiana here. Anytime LSU and Alabama plays, it's basically a giant butt block party. Fans from both teams get along well for the most part. It's great. I forget what it's called, but the blender inside the kitchen sink that makes your food waste into a smoothie instead of you having to fish it out in clumps with your hands. I'm glad you forgot. That right, there was a beautiful description. American, but I dated a German girl in college. I took her to Fuddruckers for lunch one day and she became obsessed with, not interested in, obsessed with, their burgers. Her family came to visit her a few months later and she made me take them all to Fuddruckers too. Literally every single one of them became obsessed with their burgers too. It was like watching this group of proud and noble Europeans become slovenly Americans before my very eyes. I was so proud of myself. IDK what a Fuddruckers is, but I love this comment. Not exactly a popular thing, but I'm jealous of the land space in America. Like you see videos where folk have fairly big houses and decent sized yards. I like in Scotland, and the average family are lucky to have a little patch of garden. Not commenting on the economy, homeless numbers or anything. Purely that I wish have a big outdoor space was more achievable in the UK. As an American who lives in the city, I also am jealous of American land space. Haha. Walking systems. In Chicago everyone walks on the right. You try to get in the left and slap back in your lane B. We're animals in Ireland. Mexican food and restaurants. I live in a German town with around 20k people. We have 15 Italian, though at least 2 of them only do delivery. 5 Greek, 1 Vietnamese, 1 Chinese and 5 German restaurants. 4 Turkish doner kebab stores and 2 Greek pita gyros ones. 1 MCD and a Subway, and a load of cafes and sit-down bakeries. Within a 25-kilometer radius there is just 1 Mexican restaurant, which is basically a fancy and quite expensive bar that offers a very limited menu with Mexican foods, and 1 American burger restaurant that has some Mexican stuff on its menu every once in a while, but not always. When I visited Regensburg in the early 90s, my brother and I hit a Mexican restaurant. I can best describe it as German food shaped like Mexican food. I'm German living in the US right now, but my family and I will be moving back to Germany soon. I'll miss a bunch of things. 24H stores, good avocados, Mexican food, not paying for public restrooms, living spaces in the big property sizes and yard space, in and out, thrift shops, free drink refills. But we'll be close to family again after missing everything for the last 6 years, and our special needs kiddos' healthcare will finally be not a financial strain anymore. 24H stores. Dang, I miss roaming through Walmart at 3 in the morning only to end up buying a bag of chips and like 500 shells of birdshot. A truly great and protective national park service. I'm Australian and we have plenty of sacred and special areas of land, but they're slowly but surely being exploited by fossil fuel companies. As a Filipino, I've never tried eating a medium rare steak. I would love to try one someday. It looks so dang juicy, and every time I watch a video of someone cooking one, my mouth would water. Here, we eat beef but not barbecued or steaks, and we cook them well done. Also, I'd love to try food such as burritos and tacos. Dang man, a medium rare steak is like a slice of heaven on earth. Oh, and for crying out loud, we make burritos or tacos at least once a week. Frankly, I wish my country was as supportive as the Americans when it comes to music, literature and cinema. So many talents have been wasted by the lack of support for the creatives here. Proper good buffalo sauce. Any restaurant in Australia that offers buffalo sauce is homemade and doesn't taste like buffalo sauce, just a red-orange hot sauce. Strangers being genuinely nice to you on the street. I was only once in America, and for that week in Seattle I heard, oh that's a really cool shirt, more than I ever had in my life elsewhere. This is what I miss. So funny, your barometer for this is one of the unfriendliest cities in the USA. As an American, I gotta say, I like seeing all these. It's nice for a change to be reminded of the good things we do have here. I see so much crap talked about our food, but that seems to be the big theme here. Decent sized parking spaces. Costco, US. I know. Here are the only ones that seem to grasp that car doors need to open. Peanut butter. I recently tried peanut butter and jelly and was blown away by how good it was. I was Squidward tasting Krabby Patties for the first time. Other restaurant and fast food chains. I'm so curious to try Wendy's, White Castle, and Popeyes, but all we get here are McDonald's, Burger King, and KFC, and the occasional Five Guys, but they're only in major cities. Going to the bathroom in a public space without having to pay money, it really pisses me off sometimes. That's one thing I definitely take for granted. When I heard that was a thing in Germany, I was shocked, I tell ya. Donuts. Having tasted American donuts from different places, I can say that they are simply a different product in Europe. We have some chain donut shops here, in big cities or next to freeways, but a Dunkin' Donut here is totally different from a Dunkin' Donut in the US. And I don't know why, because yours is far superior. Dunkin' Donuts are not bad, but they're like the worst option I have for getting donuts in my area. The land itself. Mountains, forests, glaciers, deserts. Arica has it all. I don't think there's any even semi-unpopulated places in my country. A lot of people don't know this, but a vast majority of the United States consists of rural or completely undeveloped land. Despite having a population of 310 million residents, only 47% of the country has been developed, leaving more than half of the country rural or completely undeveloped. Being able to complain about the political system, politicians without being labeled traitors. Vietnam for anyone asking. Netherlands here. The love for BBQ food restaurants. We have a few, but deaf. No pit masters. Those who cook passion. I would be a beast if I would live in America, I think. I, an American, lived in Malaga, Spain and Odense, Denmark for work. Was a very short time, about 2 years total. I missed my grill so very much. I love smoked food and fresh BBQ. I brought a small, very small, grill with me, and whenever I cooked with it, the whole area would come over just to see what this crazy American was making. Hanging out in nature. In Spain everyone just goes dancing or to nightclubs every week. It's boring. When I was in America we went to the lake to swim and then made a bonfire. It was nice. America has really nice natural parks. The suburbs. Only ever saw them in movies. If you could see where I'm from, Southeast Asian slums, you would consider a typical American suburb a great luxury and privilege. My favorite pastime is looking up suburbs in the US and walking around in Google Maps. I dream of different lives I could be living in, the houses and streets that I like. Feels like a movie, sometimes a novel, and then I realize they're real places and somebody else's reality. It is so surreal to me. Honestly, winterless areas. I live in Romania and I hate winter from the bottom of my soul. Then Halloween. Foods like gumbo and jambalaya, and blues. Sounds like you belong in Louisiana. Canadian here. Super envious of your access to certain conveniences, for lack of a better term. For example, my province literally just started letting grocery stores, only select ones, start selling limited amounts of beer, and it was a huge deal. Imagine, I can now get my beer while I get my hamburgers. They still have to follow the archaic rules as set out by the government in terms of times they're allowed to sell the beer. Heaven forbid I wanna grab a 6-pack after a long shift and it's 9:05 PM. I know you can see it, I know you can hold it, but as of 5 minutes ago you cannot buy it, sir. I guess maybe I'm more jealous of your access to beer than anything, lol. Meanwhile here in Wisconsin, I go to the gas station up the road and they have a whole chilled room full of beer for sale. I'm an American, but I've spent more than 1/3 RD of my life outside the US. For the past 5 years I've been living in Canada. What do I wish was more popular here? 24-hour stores. Literally, I live in a city with almost 1 million people, less than an hour outside Toronto, and we don't have even one 24-hour grocery store. The funny thing is I'm from Argentina and I feel like comparatively America has too few 24 hours things and generally everything closes right too early. Cheap craft beer. Places like Bourbon Street where you can carry your brew down the block with you to other events and more established live bands, especially since I live in a flyover province. The coupons, the basements, and the 24-hour diners. For the life of me, I can't understand why Americans pay even a cent for food when you guys have so many coupons. Maybe it's not as fun as it looks on TV, but free stuff? Come on. Basements are literally like an extra massive room you get to throw your kids into when they get to their teens and you don't have to worry about them. I'm thinking 70s show and diners. I doubt I'd ever get the urge to go and have a meal at 3 in the morning, but I like having the option. You're so lucky. You Americans smile at everyone. I remember when I first saw an American when I was a toddler and she smiled at me. We don't smile at strangers here. From that point on, I always assumed Americans are nice. Although my dad who lives there told me that not all of them are nice. I still think they're nice till this day and I kinda wish people here smiled more. Someone in Spain told me they could tell I was American because Americans are always walking around smiling for no reason. LOL. Pulled pork. Could use more of it in my country. Beef jerky. It's an amazing junk food snack and they sell it in massive bags in every store in the US. In the UK there are 2 options. Crappy Jack Links, that's twice the price of US jerky and comes in microscopic bags. Decent small batch jerky, that's 4 times the price of US jerky. Yard sales. I love the idea of them and the possibility of finding a bargain and also having an easy means to sell all your old stuff. If you are new to the channel, you can subscribe. I publish new videos every day. Until then, check another video. Bye for now.